Now, with companies closing every week throughout the country and the number of people unemployed continuing to rise, how do you give a positive outlook on life when trying to get back into the jobs market? Or I suppose a positive outlook on life in general. Jill Walker's with us this morning from People Potential. Shows how to get mind fit and get your heads and your attitude into the best possible shape to help you in all aspects of your life, including job hunting. Morning, Jill. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming in. I was just saying to you there, one of the things is the number of rejections most people get en route to trying to get another job. It seems to be phenomenal. Just you might send off 50 CVs and not even get a reply. How do you stop getting depressed?
Well, there are lots and lots of different things that you can do. I mean, broadly, this area is called mind fitness. And obviously, there's lots of things you can do in terms of making sure your CV is right and you're using your network and all those sort of practical things. But the other really important thing that maybe sometimes people don't realise how critical it is actually feeling and staying positive. So the techniques that I will be talking about are really about making sure that you keep your attitude positive, your mood positive, and that means when you get those rejections, if you get it, to be honest, you could get the first job you go for.
Exactly.
It doesn't always happen.
Exactly.
So it doesn't always happen that way. But it's about having strategies to make sure and noticing if you're getting a bit low and having strategies to feel more positive.
So what sort of tips then would you give to people who are sort of find themselves in that situation? They're feeling a little bit low. There doesn't seem to be any light at the end of the tunnel, and it's sort of like one negative thought after another. Am I ever going to get out of this? And suddenly maybe your own self-worth or esteem comes down another notch.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of practical things that people can do. The first thing is actually to write down how you're feeling. There was a study done with people who are actually made redundant, and they asked them just a really simple thing. Write down how you're feeling about it, how it's impacting you, just a couple of minutes every day. And after just a couple of weeks, people actually felt more positive, happier, and actually physically better. Yeah. So they actually were healthier as a result of doing that. So writing things down can really change how you feel about the situation you're going through.
That would then really be tip one if you're looking for a job. If you're going, to build your confidence for job hunting. Mood management is what you call it. What are energy eaters and avoiding them?
Okay, well that is part of mood management. The other part of mood management is actually, we know from research that people who are happy and positive are actually more creative and think more clearly. So if you're about to sit down and do some cold calling or write your CV or something like that, actually making sure you put yourself in a good mood beforehand. It might just be a walk or having a cup of coffee or something, but putting yourself in a good mood will actually mean you'll be better at doing that. So that's mood management. The energy eaters, it's about, we often worry about things that we can't actually control. Yeah. So if you find yourself doing that, like worrying about how many jobs are there in my area, you can't change that.
So switch off.
Yeah, switch off from it. Lots of different things you can do. One thing is to just actually notice if you're doing it, and literally just, it's like you're filing it away and saying, that's something I can't change. I'm going to file it in like an archive box. So literally just switching off from it.
And again, you like the idea of writing down maybe negative thoughts if they're coming to you and replace them with positive thoughts?
Yeah. Again, the writing is so powerful. But if you notice that you have some negative thoughts, literally I would suggest getting a piece of paper or notebook, writing down anything that you're saying negatively to yourself, and then trying to change those negative things into something positive. And then the next time you notice yourself saying something negative, just change it to the positive version.
Does it become automatic after a while, if you're doing this on a regular basis, that you automatically, your whole outlook and mood and demeanour almost changes after a couple of months of this?
Yeah, it does. It's just like we can get into a negative spiral and go down, as you mentioned, or we can get into a positive spiral and go up. So we start doing some of these things, we start feeling more positive, and then we start, just getting into that really good positive spiral.
I got an email there from a guy recently who'd been working in the building construction, of the construction industry, and it's gone. But he said he now has more free time and he's got more projects and he's going down a different career route. And for him, that was a huge change. And he feels the positive and the silver lining, I suppose, that came out of what I saw on the graphic there was he's got more time for his family. Yeah,
that's a technique I would call the silver lining. It's absolutely, if you're job hunting and you're feeling good about it, then you're going to be much more motivated, you're going to present yourself much more confidently to employers. So if you can find a benefit in the situation you're in, like maybe you're getting to spend more time with the kids, or maybe you haven't really thought about your career in any really significant way, since maybe you left school when you first decided what job you'd go for, or since you left college. So this is maybe a second chance to really get into
a new world maybe
as
well. Yeah,
and if you can find those positives, it makes such a difference, it really does.
Explain fake it to me.
I love this one. I'm always normally about being authentic and being true to yourself. But this one, studies have found that if you put a smile on your face, it actually changes how you feel inside. So even if you're feeling in a rotten mood and you go around smiling, you start to change how you feel happier. So if you're about to go to a job interview, and you're not feeling so happy or feeling so confident, putting a smile on your face, confident body language, and you actually change inside how you feel. It's not just the impression you give, but you actually feel that way yourself.
Excellent. When your luck is down, and you know, if you're out of a job and you're trying to get back on that career path, whether it's a different career, whether it's the same career, there is a massive amount of rejection which has to have a bearing on your whole self. So how do you encourage people, or how do you train people to handle this rejection, that I'm not worthless, there isn't just a vacancy there for me at the moment?
Yeah. Again, it's coming back to the mind-fit techniques of keeping positive. And by the way, I have to say that this isn't just positive for being positive's sake. You know, it's not just about, oh, let's all be happy. I have to acknowledge that a lot of people are going through really tough situations at the moment. But why this is so relevant is if you can stay positive and happy, you actually are more creative and you think better. So it'll help you when you're actually in the job hunting. So that is why the techniques about staying positive really make a difference.
You mentioned a thing called the overthinking trap.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, overthinking, and most of us who overthink know who we are. And it's when you tend to analyse things a lot and go over things. But what we know from, by the way, all of these techniques are based on positive psychology and really detailed research that all have loads of evidence behind them. And one of the researches around overthinking is that we know it saps people's motivation, it saps people's energy. You don't think or concentrate as well when you're overthinking. And obviously you don't feel so good about things if you're overthinking about something negative. So literally just, if you notice yourself overthinking about something, if you're not actively working on job hunting, then just not thinking about it. Yeah.
Okay. Stress is the other one that builds up, and not necessarily everyone's aware of the fact that the stress levels are building, and depression is almost setting in. And we know the worst case scenario there is you're in a deep, deep, dark place. So are there ways to switch off from stress if you're aware, or even if you're unaware? Yeah.
I think the big thing to be aware of is that there are stresses involved if you're not getting a job straight away. And the big thing I'd say about managing stress is to know what your real stress switch-offs are. Now, what I mean by that is when we're doing something that totally takes our mind off what we're doing. For one person, it could be swimming. For somebody else, it's playing in their band, playing a musical instrument. For somebody else, it's rock climbing or chess. It doesn't matter what it is. The main thing is when you are doing it, you think about nothing else. Focus. And what that does is it gives you like a release, a break from the other pressures that you have going on. And what happens is when we're under stress or under pressure, we can feel like we have to job hunt all the time. We have to keep going. Whereas actually you're undermining yourself. So you're much better to take those breaks, step back.
Excellent. This is super stuff. Mindfit for 2010, the Positivity and Resilience Workshop is out at the Royal Marine Hotel in Dublin. Peoplepotential.ie, there's the website, we put it up on screen. And people can enrol to the website or contact you via email at the same site as well. Jill Walker, pleasure as always. Thank you very much.